Okay, so this is part 2 of where we left off in terms of poly extruding from our text. We made a nice little bevel compared to this one where it's completely flat. There's a huge difference, you know. First, let me get rid of this grid again. This grid. So in the previous tutorial I mentioned how to get rid of it, but I'll show you again. We go under this little menu, show and grid. Uncheck it. Now we got rid of it. So before we begin, previously this model, it had a certain setting. Under the what we call a smoothing angle was set to 30. Right. So this is what we had before. Okay. And if you notice, it's kind of odd. The shading is off. I mentioned this before when we were working on these guys, these blocks, but the same thing. The shading is a little bit off. It looks kind of dull. And if you look carefully, see that right there? This and this. We don't want that. I want it to be a nice, sharp transition in terms of the shading. So I'm gonna select it, and in our channel box, and you have all of these little things going on. Just look at the top layer, poly extrude face 1. That's the last thing that we did. I'm gonna click on it, and that shows all this stuff relating to the extruding that we did. So I'm gonna scroll all the way down, and I'm gonna look for something called smoothing angle. Right now it's set to 30. If I set the smoothing angle to a lower number, say half of that, say 15, what's it gonna do is that it's gonna make the shading more angular and more defined. So I'm gonna hit enter. Now if I let go, you'll see that the shader, the default shader, is much more angular and representing something more of a geometric angles, whatever. Okay, so I like that better. This is important, like I mentioned before, because it will show in the renders. But now I noticed that the extrusion is a little bit too much. So I'm gonna hit Control T again to bring up this poly extrude menu. Control T, okay. And the local translate Z, meaning how much it pushed out. I wanted to make it, say, instead of 0.2, 0.175. So it's less of a push out. Okay. Okay, I like that. 0.175. And in terms of the offset, meaning how much it angles in, I mean, maybe a little bit less. So maybe let's try 0.05. Yeah, it's a little bit less intense how much it angles in. I like that better. But if you notice over here, now the shading is a little bit weird. See that it's lighter and darker? Let me try see if I can fix that. So like I said before, that is not under this menu. It's under poly extrude face 1 right here. Let's go back in here. I'm gonna scroll down under the smoothing angle, and let's try to make it. Let's make it 20. Okay, kinda don't like it. I'm gonna select it, go back under poly extrude face 1. Okay, scroll down. Let's make it, I don't know, 17. Okay, a little bit better. Or maybe I should just leave it alone. Set it back to 15. Maybe some more. Maybe set it to 10. smoothing angle to 10, or maybe 5. Ooh, 5. Ooh, look what 5 did. Made it really messed up. Okay, let's undo that. Let's make it 10. Alright. I guess it didn't really do much. Whatever. So there it is. So what we had was the local translate Z at 0.175, offset at 0.05. Okay. So I'm gonna grab this one now. I'm just hit W, get rid of that weird controller cage we had. I'm gonna right click on top of it, and I'm gonna hit face. Okay. I'm gonna select that face. Alright, we're in component mode, which is the light blue colored lines. And I'm gonna hold on my shift while hovering over my object, and hold on right click as well, shift and right click, extrude face. Okay, now local translate Z, what did I have it at? 0.075? I'm just grabbing the arrow to manually do it. Did we have a 0.15? I think it was set at 0.15. I think. Let me just double check. I'm gonna grab my original. I'm gonna hit Control T to bring up that. Okay, our local translator was at 0.175. So I'm gonna grab this one, and I'm gonna type in 0.175, 175 point. And then our offset, God, what was my offset? Oh, offset was at 0.05. And so I grabbed this one again. .075? Or no, offset at 0.05. 0.05. Okay, there you go. Alright, so there you have it. Oh, we also forgot to mess with our shading. And like I said before, we go in here and scroll all the way down. Let's just set it to 15. And there we go. And that's the end of this tutorial.